Go Viva drops contain a little known natural compound that serves as your body's cleanup crew. This anti-aging compound is something your body desperately needs, but reduces its production of around the biological age of 30. Most diets in today's world are gluten-free and low carb and don't contain enough spermidine to help you continue to make it at the level you need. Enter Govi's Goviva drops. Using these drops, you could experience better sleep, better skin, improved hair growth, a faster metabolism, fewer aches and pains, an improved immune system, and better brain function. So let's take a look at the top 5 things that we can expect when using Govi's Go Viva drops. And to help examine that, I'm going to share my screen so that you have something to read along as we go through this. So our lives should be designed to experience maximum autophagy. Many people don't know what that word means, but it simply is self-eating or breaking down of broken proteins in the body and rebuilding them into healthy cells that we need on a daily basis. Now, spermidine is one of the ingredients in Govi's proprietary blend in Goviva, and it plays a critical role in DNA stability, autophagy, and anti-aging. So let's break that down a little bit in simple terms and understand how this ingredient, spermidine, is your body's cellular janitor and ultimate youth molecule. Okay, so what is spermidine? It's a polyamine compound made in our bodies, and it's critically involved in the maintenance of cellular homeostasis. Okay, what does that mean? Homeostasis is a stable internal environment. And when our bodies are happy, they have this maintained homeostasis and optimal function. And spermidine is really critical. It's necessary. It's what helps maintain that. But as we age, the levels of spermidine decline in the human body, now more so than in generations past. Now, potential benefits of spermidine, it's a wide range of things because it's actually involved in hormone production and regulation. So it's going to improve energy, support cardiovascular function, fertility, delaying whole bunch of aging processes. It does so many things to the body, especially as hormones are dropping and cells can't communicate very well amongst themselves. So let's just, though, take a look at 5 things because you're probably asking yourself, why should I care? What does it mean for me? So we're going to take a look at the top 5 reasons, even though there are many more reasons to take something like the spermidine compound. So why we're going to start with autophagy because all the other reasons are contingent upon this happening on a daily basis in your body. So it can be initiated through prolonged fasting. You may have heard of people doing 3, 4, 5 day fasts, and they feel so much better when they come out the other end. And that's because as these fasting continues and digestion has stopped in the body does a bit of a self-eating, but it goes into the damaged proteins and the cell waste, and it eats that stuff up, either removing it from the body or breaking it down into the basic components so that I can recycle, reuse, and build back up proteins and make them turn into the cells that we need them to become. So decreased autophagy, it drives the onset of aging because our body stops doing that. Every 30 days, you should get new skin cells. Every 90 days, you should have new blood cells. And we don't want broken cell organelles lingering in the body. When they stay hanging around, that is when aging accelerates. It's when disease sets in. And so this autophagy through spermidine in particular is a natural cleanup process that is designed by the body to be carried out on an ongoing basis. However, as we age and more stress in our lives, that stops happening for us. Now, interestingly enough, on a side note, when doctors look at people who make it to their 90s and into, past 100 years of age, when they examine their blood work, they look at specifically about spermidine concentrations. And when they look at those people who've lived long, those spermidine concentrations are similar to those people who are in their midlife, so 40 to 50 years old. So clearly we can take a lesson from that. Our goal should be that we design a life to experience maximum autophagy to keep us young. And not everybody seems to be able to carry out those fasts. In fact, there are reasons why we shouldn't be doing them too frequently because, again, there can be some stress involved in that. That is harmful to the body. So we want this balance. But what if we could attain autophagy on a daily basis without going into prolonged fasts? Uh, Enter spermidine. So let's take a look at one example why people love this product. Hair growth. Spermidine is proven to extend the anagen phase of hair growth, which is the growing phase of the cycle, and it shortens the resting phase. So essentially, it's nudging those sleeping hair follicles to wake up and grow again. It also influences gene expression. So spermidine is involved at the stem cell level, and it is involved in helping cells, break into their different stages of development all the way to maturity. So eventually, a stem cell has to express itself as a skin cell or a hair cell or some part of your body. And spermidine is definitely involved in that differentiation process. So what it helps the hair follicles do it is the same thing. It's essentially helping them divide and regenerate and become expressed as a hair follicle. So spermidine is critical for maintaining that health. Hair follicle stem cells, especially in the bulge and bulb regions, they need strong mitochondrial function. Well, the key purpose of spermidine is to go into the mitochondria. Every cell has mitochondria. Your muscles have several mitochondrial factories, but every cell has at least one. And the mitochondria is the energy production of the cell. So when we have strong mitochondrial function, which spermidine is responsible for, we have strong autophagy and we have this regeneration of cells. So spermidine supports both stimulating new hair growth at where it had previously stopped as well. It's also an anti-inflammatory and has antioxidant effects. So think about more oxygen and circulation getting to all parts of the body, but particularly in the growth regions of where those hair follicles are. So you have more circulation, more oxygenation, and less microinflammation, which creates an ideal fertile environment for maximum hair growth. And so just sharing this next picture with you, this is a picture of a 27-year-old male who has been on the Viva drops for 30 days. He took 4 to 5 drops a day, and you can see significant growth in the peaks where he has this male pattern baldness as well as a little bit of thinning on the top of his head. The next thing we want to look at is fat loss because spermidine is really something that's been kept secret far too long when it comes to metabolic health, fat burning, and insulin sensitivity. Spermidine mimics the benefits of calorie restriction, like I said, with fasting. And when you fast, you can really get when you actually activate autophagy. I want to talk about that. When you can get autophagy happening in the body, you can really start to heal some of these metabolic issues that cause people to gain weight, especially in middle age. So not unlike berberine and metformin, spermidine improves insulin sensitivity, meaning that it allows cells to more effectively take up glucose from the blood, which helps you regulate blood sugar levels and improve overall metabolic health, keeping you in the fat burning zone. Let's take a look at it in more detail. Spermidine affects metabolism via the mitochondria. So when you have those healthy mitochondria, your basal metabolic rate, when you're just sitting and resting, is functioning at a higher level, which is going to be better for fat burning. It also has brown fat activation by increasing thermogenesis. So think about heat production and using up more energy just for your daily cell function. It's via the brown adipose tissue, the metabolically active fat that burns calories and generates heat. And then also the lipid metabolism, where spermidine regulates lipid fat, opening those pathways, supporting the fatty acid oxidation rather than fat storage. So this is a key compound for helping you maintain a healthy weight and healthy blood insulin levels. Another thing that people use spermidine, highly sought after for this effect, is the younger looking skin. So it supports the keratin and collagen production, and it prevents the elastin breakdown. It also improves wound healing, and it's going to harmonize hormonal as well as gut health. When you have balanced hormones and improved gut health, you're going to have better skin. And in terms of collagen and elastin preservation, these are again proteins that we need to maintain that youthful elasticity, fewer wrinkles, and this is going to happen better for your body by keeping spermidine levels high. So fibroblasts are these specialized cells primarily responsible for producing the collagen and the elastin in the skin. And they maintain that extracellular matrix that is through our body, fighting gravity, helping to keep our skin nice and tight. And this compound, spermidine, helps facilitate that protein production and preservation. So it's going to support that process, minimizing the breakdown of these key proteins, helping you have younger looking skin. And also just think about the increased oxygen flow, just like it did for hair follicles. It's going to make your skin have that glow and just better youthful color. Finally, we're going to look at brain health. And there are many, many studies on this issue. But our ultimate goal in life should be to protect the brain because you can have a healthy heart, but if your brain goes into decline, like the degenerative diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's, there's no cure for those diseases. And once the brain goes into that stage, it changes life completely. And so to me, it's the most important organ to protect. So when we look at the study of spermidine with diseases like all forms of dementia and Parkinson's, we know that these things are caused by the breakdown of proteins and the loss of neuron function in certain areas of the brain. So what we can do at a younger age, and we're also learning from studies that what happens to us in our 70s and 80s and 90s with brain health largely depends on how we lived in our 40s and 50s and so on. So maximizing autophagy, protecting the organs, protecting the brain at a younger age, controlling stress, so important at a younger age, getting adequate sleep. Again, there are studies tied to sleep quality in the onset of dementia. This is so important for protecting the brain. So what spermidine does is it induces that autophagy and it reduces the accumulation of toxic proteins in the brain. That helps prevent the deterioration of certain proteins and protects the nerves in there as well. Think about proteins in the brain. They should be soft and supple like recently cooked spaghetti. But what happens in brain diseases, they become hard and they bend over, and some of them can even like break apart and progress through the brain. So we're trying to prevent that, protect the protein that's there, protect the nerves and the neurons, and prevent this damage as much as possible. And increasing the amount of spermidine you take can reduce some of these cognitive impairments. They also know that people generally are less likely to die from cardiovascular disease or cancer-related issues if they increase their exogenous intake of spermidine. So let's take a look at how to choose a spermidine supplement. First of all, you want to have a natural source of spermidine over a synthetic. Think of it as this, to optimally use this kind of compound in your body, you want to have a right-handed glove on a right hand. And using synthetic sources is like putting a right-handed glove on a left hand. It's not a perfect matchup and it doesn't work very well. So choose a natural plant-based source. The dose, there is no set dose in North America. I realize other countries or continents have that, but this is very tricky to define because not all spermidine is created equal. So it's very hard to dose something that has such a different quality to it. So always aim for the highest quality of spermidine that you can get. For example, liposomal spermidine is not recommended because that liposome, that fat barrier, prevents the spermidine from being absorbed in the stomach and intestinal area. Or I guess the small intestine area where it's absorbed. And it's critical to get spermidine there. You want spermidine to be in the intestine because it actually helps repair leaky gut. Optimally, you should be taking spermidine with a great pre-probiotic, postbiotic, and also a very high quality antioxidant like curcumin. So if you can put that all together, you have the ultimate youth generating factory going into your body. And when you start to heal the gut like that and repair it and allow some of these compounds to go into the body, you're going to start to impact things like thyroidism and other aches and pains and deficiencies, throughout the body. So that's why I particularly like this product, this Govi's micelle, the GoViva micelle, because it is a fully water soluble, nearly 100% absorbable product. And that's due to the technology of how they can make it water soluble, also being 1/1000th the size of a human cell. It allows for maximum absorption. This product very easily crosses the blood-brain barrier to help protect the brain. So to me, this is the best source you can get. And if we ask the question, who should take GoViva? Well, anybody who has aging concerns, cellular health issues, hormone imbalances, fertility concerns, weight management or insulin resistance issues, hair thinning or hair loss, a weakened immune function, or prolonged use of broad spectrum antibiotics should look into this. Of course, remember that we are not your doctors. And if you've been diagnosed with a disease, we ask you to reach out to your healthcare provider. So if you would like some information on where you can get this, please reach out to the person who shared Gobi with you and they can get more information to you.